Connor Tobe is a 25-year-old man who runs his own media production business and is also pursuing a professional beach volleyball career. In this video, I'll walk through Connor's personal financial plan, including his budget, debt strategy, investing and retirement strategies, insurance, taxes, and his future goals. I'll then wrap it up with what I've learned along the way from building this plan.
Connor is based in Alberta and works as a self-employed media production services provider. He completed post-secondary training in business and media management and decided to go straight into self-employment instead of taking a traditional salary job. That gives him flexible time for tournaments and training, but it also means no employer benefits and variable income. At age 25, his business generates about $88,000 in gross revenue in year one, with continual compounded growth of around 40% from years 2 through 5. I also assume 20% of his gross revenue goes towards business expenses like home office costs, software, equipment, and professional development. Connor currently invests heavily in volleyball, about $20,000 per year. That's an amount that he expects to grow slowly over the next decade. He also begins with a modest mix of credit and student loan debt. His housing costs are also relatively low at about $1,150 per month, although this is assumed to rise with inflation. Additionally, he aims to purchase a home around the age of 35. In year one, Connor earns roughly $7,300 per month in gross revenue. After taking off 20% for business expenses, he keeps about $5,900 a month. Once personal taxes are applied, his final take-home income is about $4,500 per month, or just over $53,000 annually. His core living and training expenses total approximately $4,000 a month, or $48,000 annually. This leaves him with a surplus of about $400 per month, or roughly $5,000 in year one. He follows the debt avalanche method by targeting his 19% credit card debt before his 5% student loan debt. By making payments of about $400 a month, he eliminates the credit card within 5 months and pays just over $2,000 towards it in year one, overall reducing his high interest costs. He also continues paying down his student loan. In year one, he puts roughly $3,000 towards it and then increases his monthly payments through years 2 and 3. His plan is to fully eliminate the $25,000 student loan by end of year 5, with total repayments of about $28,000 including interest. He also avoids taking on any new debt and focuses on paying down what he owes while building his emergency fund, which should help improve his credit score over time. Connor's investment plan uses multiple accounts: an emergency fund, a high-interest savings account, a TFSA, an RRSP, and eventually non-registered accounts once the TFSA and RRSP are maxed. He expects the emergency fund and savings account to grow at 3% annually, whereas the TFSA and RRSP to grow at 6% annually, and the future non-registered account to grow a bit faster to maintain a balanced, moderate risk portfolio. Year by year, Connor's saving patterns ramp up. In year one, the surplus in his budget goes towards building his emergency fund and basic savings. In year two, he tops up the emergency fund, begins TFSA contributions, and adds to his bank savings for a total of over $8,000 saved before interest. In years 3, 4, and 5, this savings trend continued, and Connor's savings ratio increased from about 7% to 20% once all of his debt has been paid off. Looking longer term, the plan is to keep investing 15 to 20% of gross income into TFSA, RRSP, and non-registered investments until around the age of 59. Connor manages his risk in a variety of ways. He focuses on disability insurance, life insurance as he ages, and building a strong emergency fund. Because he's a high-risk athlete and self-employed, Connor plans to carry disability insurance from age 26 through retirement to protect against any income loss from injury. During his volleyball years, he budgets $900 per year for coverage and expects to keep paying this until he retires. With his current income, the policy would provide an after-tax benefit of roughly $2,000 to $3,000 a month if he were injured. To manage short-term risks, Connor aims for an emergency fund of $20,000 to $30,000, covering up to 8 months of expenses by year 5. Around age 32, when starting a family, he plans to add roughly $500,000 of term life insurance, and he'll maintain home, auto, and business liability coverage as needed. After his volleyball career, around the age of 35, Connor plans to add a participating whole life policy with pay to 100. Connor assumes a $100,000 death benefit as he'll pay $100 per month, totaling about $30,000 by the age of 59, in exchange for lifelong coverage and a growing cash value through dividends. Taxes are like flies, they're inevitable, but Connor uses his business structure to shield part of his income. Business expense deductions of about 20% play a key role in his tax and debt strategy, helping him pay off debt faster, almost like swatting away a fifth of the tax flies. At ages 25 and 26, he prioritizes the TFSA because his income and marginal tax rate are still moderate. Since TFSA contributions don't give a deduction up front, it provides flexibility during unpredictable volleyball years. Starting in year 3, Connor contributes heavily to his RRSP. This is primarily a tax deferral tool to help his savings grow without being taxed right away at his increased marginal tax rate. Connor's credit strategy is short and sweet. He will reinvest tax refunds into his TFSA or emergency fund, essentially turning tax savings into additional compounding instead of lifestyle inflation. This financial plan was built around some of Connor's major life goals. Between ages 25 and 29, he aims to grow his business, build an emergency fund, clear his credit card debt by age 26, pay off his student loan debt by age 29, and reach a positive net worth by the end of year 5. In his early 30s, he plans to buy a home, start a family, and switch to term life insurance. At age 34, he is expected to be at his peak and final volleyball year, after which he focuses on growing his media business. By 35, he adds permanent life insurance for more long-term planning. From 40 to 59, his focuses shift to wealth building. That means paying off his mortgage, growing his investments, and preparing for retirement all jump to the top of the priority list. His long-term goal is to be a multi-million-dollar net worth and have the freedom to enjoy family, travel, and future ventures. Designing this plan has highlighted several trade-offs. The biggest one is beach volleyball versus savings. Committing over $20,000 yearly to volleyball in his 20s slows down how fast his net worth grows, but it's intentional. By quantifying the cost of his dreams, he can justify being very disciplined in other areas. Another challenge is self-employment income variability. His budget assumes a steady average income, but reality can be bumpy. That's why the emergency fund target of $20,000 to $30,000 is non-negotiable. For a self-employed person with no employment insurance, this represents at least 4 months of security if income drops. There's also a trade-off between debt repayment and investing. Since paying 19% interest while earning 6% interest on investments isn't that efficient, he eliminates the credit card debt first. He also postpones RRSP contributions for 2 years to build his emergency fund and TFSA, ultimately trading a bit of compounding for greater financial stability. I learned several key lessons from helping Connor build his financial plan. 1, budgeting is really about managing surplus and shifting priorities. His small monthly surplus becomes very powerful when it's used intentionally. 2, the debt avalanche method and business deductions act like guaranteed returns by saving interest and reducing taxes. 3, insurance is a logical form of risk protection. Even though paying premiums doesn't increase net worth, they protect millions in future earnings and support his family and business. 4, Connor's net worth, moving from negative to positive in only 5 years, shows how strong debt repayment is a wealth building tool. And lastly, delaying RRSP contributions from age 25 to 27 sacrifices only 2 years of growth, but frees up cash for emergency savings and debt reduction, proving that the order of financial steps matters more than rushing to invest. Overall, Connor's plan is ambitious yet realistic, blending his volleyball career with long-term financial independence through smart budgeting, debt management, investing, and risk protection. Thanks for watching.